How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I have for you guys some of the information that was just revealed along with some of the content that's going to be implemented into MLB The Show this upcoming week. They did reveal a brand new signature team card, a final reward in a 98 overall Ron Guidry, and then they also talked a lot about the finest voting, how you're able to vote, and some of the players that are going to be implemented into that. So I'm going to quickly start by revealing the stats for this Ron Guidry card. Definitely solid. The way you're able to unlock him is by completing the brand new moments that they're going to release. It's going to be a variety of, interleague rivalries as well as rivalries within certain divisions within each division, and we're going to have to see what some of those missions consist of. But this Ron Guidry is definitely a solid card. He has a primary pitch of a slider, as well as he has 118 stamina, which is elite. He has 89 hits per nine, 104 K per nine. His walks per nine and control go good together at 92. Walks per nine and 89 control on all of his pitches. That's an average for all 5 of the pitches. He also has 90 velocity, will get the ball up to 98 miles an hour, 99 miles an hour, with a really good hard slider, more than likely with 99 break, since that is his primary pitch. So I definitely think that this card is good. The home runs per nine stat doesn't really matter as much with the recent patch and how they tuned down the effect on exit velocities with that. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the finest program. So this is a website called MLB The Show Nation. If you aren't familiar with it, I will go ahead and have a link posted and pinned in the comment section down below. Basically, you're going to go to this website. At the top of the screen, there's going to be a link to vote for finest players. And we see down here below it says American League. It lists each division, and each team is going to have 3 nominees for a finest card for this program. There are going to be over 40 finest cards implemented into this program. They already talked about some guys that they have locked in. So if I don't reveal some of the players that you would like to see, they may be a lock for a finest card already that is separate from the voting. So let's go ahead and get right into this. To start with, we have the San Diego Padres. We have Manny Machado, Chris Paddock, and Fernando Tatis Jr. I definitely think Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to win this one. It's probably who I'm going to vote for. A solid 4-tool, 5-tool player. A finest version of this card would be amazing. Hopefully, he would have a little bit higher vision than the Future Star card, but definitely a solid choice here. I'm going to go through these rather quickly because there is one from each team, so I don't want this to be too long, but I am excited for this voting, and to go to this website, you just go ahead and vote. You guys will look at the website that I was looking at, and each listing is a drop-down bar. So that's the best way to do that. And I think that the Will Smith for this card, I mean for the San Francisco Giants, I think Will Smith is the best pick here. We also see Mike Yastrzemski at the right there. I'll also hide my face cam so you guys can see these players a little bit better. But I'm going to pick Will Smith. I'm going to vote for him. We need more lefties in the game. And I think that his signature series, his finest card would be very well used, and his live series is even good. So I definitely think that this is a pretty good program in its entirety with some of these players that we just see from these first couple of screenshots. The next team is the Dodgers. They have Max Muncy, Justin Turner, and Hyunjin Ryu. I was able to do a finest prediction video. I predicted a few of these guys that have been released so far or revealed so far, and I definitely think that these are great selections for this program, as well as we might see some players locked in for some of these teams. For the Rockies, we see Nolan Arenado, Scott Oberg, and Trevor Story. I think that Nolan Arenado will win this one. I would not be surprised if Trevor Story won, though. I think that the sleeper pick in this one is Scott Oberg. I don't think too many people will go ahead and select him, but definitely 3 good cards here. And Trevor Story being that fast, really strong power hitting shortstop, middle infielder, definitely probably, in my opinion, going to be the top selection. But we'll have to find out. We have a week to vote for these. I did not mention that. You have up until next week to vote for these on MLB The Show Nation. For the Diamondbacks, we see Archie Bradley, Eduardo Escobar, and Ketel Marte. I think Ketel Marte will win this one hands down. He's a switch hitter that plays a variety of positions. He'll have some good power. I did predict him in this program as well, and I think that he will be the card that is selected from this vote. For the Cardinals, I think Jack Flaherty is a very nice pitcher, very respectable guy. I think that he's a younger pitcher that is a phenom in MLB. And we also see Giovanni Gallegos and Colton Wong, two really good options as well. Giovanni Gallegos would be a great reliever. He has a Player of the Month card as well in the game. So Colton Wong, of course, an elite defender, might even have maxed out fielding, but would be an all-right hitter as well because it would be a finest version of his card. Something to keep in mind here, I don't think we can go wrong with any of these selections that we've had so far, though. For the Pirates, we see Josh Bell, who has the Lightning player for the Player of the Month, Starling Marte, who would be an amazing finest card, and Brian Reynolds, who I also think would be a pretty good finest card, a switch hitter. He does have a Player of the Month version, I believe. If not, it's some type of flashback in the game already that is a gold version. Definitely a solid hitter, but I think that Josh Bell or Starling Marte are the guys here. To continue this on, we have the Brewers, Yasmani Grandal, Keston Hiura, and Mike Moustakas. I might botch some of these names, but it is what it is. I think Yasmani Grandal will win this one anyway. Switch hitting catcher with a lot of power. I know some people thought that he should deserve a finest card in my prediction video. I definitely think that he will get one, and I think he'll win this vote. I thought he might even be the locked player for the Brewers, but I have a feeling that that will be Christian Yelich. Anyway, there are 17 other players that are locked for finest cards that are not implemented into this video for this voting. I just wanted to clarify that as well. The Reds have a couple really good guys, Eugenio Suarez, Sonny Gray, and Aristides Aquino. I saved his name for last because I have no idea how to say it, but I definitely think that either Eugenio Suarez or Aquino wins this vote. I think that Aquino would be an awesome card. He does have a flashback already from some of those Tops Now free moments, but I think that Suarez would be an amazing finest. He does have a lot of home runs, as well as Aquino with a rookie breakout phenom type of season. Came out of nowhere, basically, and performed really well. So I'm excited for this program. I think the Reds could have a couple really good cards here. The Cubs could also have a couple really good cards. Chris Bryant, I think, wins this one. Either him or Anthony Rizzo. I think Wilson Contreras would be another great addition, but I think we might go with some other catchers with the voting, and I think that KB and Anthony Rizzo are more of a fan favorite for the Cubs. I think they win this finest vote. But for the Nationals, we have Patrick Corbin, Anthony Rendon, Steven Strasburg. I think Anthony Rendon will win this one. He's had the best season of his career this year, and he already had a finest card in 17. They did mention that this card will be better than that one, so I think that this card will be really good. I mean, that card in 17 was really nice. He was pretty decent, and I figured he'll win this vote. I could be wrong. Could be Patrick Corbin as a lefty, or even Strasburg would be a really nice finest card. He also had a finest card in MLB The Show 17 as well. But to keep this thing rolling, I don't think there really has to be anything said for this screenshot. I think Bryce Harper wins this vote hands down. I think that this will be the largest vote by victory. I think anyway, I think he'll have the most votes for this one rather than these other guys. But just because he's a fan favorite, he's on the cover of the game, I think a lot of people want a souped-up Bryce Harper, even better than the one that we get from Fuzzy's Moments. But I think that this Harper could be a 95 plus, 90, 98, 99. You never know what these finest cards are going to be. Even though he did have kind of an off year, I do think Bryce Harper is very valuable to the Phillies and will be performing for them for many years to come, as we see with that contract. But for the Mets, I'm surprised we didn't see Wilson Ramos here. I did mention him in my finest video as well. He might be one of the locks for this. I don't know, though. I want to say that they probably would go with some other guys for locks rather than a Mets card. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody with that. But we do see Michael Conforto, Seth Lugo, Jeff McNeil. I think McNeil will win this one. I think that people are a big fan of Michael Conforto as well. He's a BR god, and a lot of people like using that card. Seth Lugo already has a souped-up relief pitcher version of his card. I think McNeil would be similar to Tony Gwynn. He's a very good contact hitter. Would have similar hitting stats to Gwynn, maybe a little bit less contact and everything. But I definitely think that he will win this selection. For the Braves, I hope that Ozzie Albies wins this one, just because switch hitting second baseman would be amazing. I also like Mike Soroka. I'm a big fan of his, and he's a great pitcher for how young he is and how he's able to maintain his composure on the mound and control the game as well. So definitely like Mike Soroka. Max Fried, I don't really know too much about, but I definitely think he'll be a good card if he has a finest card. I think all these cards will be good. but I think Ozzy Albies is probably the move there. For the Marlins, we have Jorge Alfaro, Brian Anderson, and Garrett Cooper. To be honest with you, I don't really know a lot of these guys. I've heard their name before. These aren't like big name players. Haven't really been keeping up with the MLB as much as I would like to this past season or the last 2 years with college and everything. But I think Jorge Alfaro wins this one, being that he is a catcher and has a good amount of power as well as some good defense. I think that he does win this finest vote. For the Rangers, we see Lance Lynn, Mike Minor, Danny Santana. No Joey Gallo, but I definitely think his All-Star version card is really good. They mentioned that during the stream as well. I think Danny Santana wins this one. Definitely a solid hitter. He already has a souped-up card. I just don't see these other guys getting one over him in terms of the vote. But that's just a personal opinion. I could be completely wrong on some of these guesses, but I figured while revealing these cards, I might as well predict who I think is going to win, or also mention who I'm going to vote for in that way as well. So for the Mariners, I'm going to be voting for Daniel Vogelbach. I think that I just really like his card. I've liked using that Gold Player of the Month version in some of the events. I think that he has a great swing in the game, and I don't really know too much about Marco Gonzalez other than the fact that he's been a winning pitcher this season. Haven't really kept up with him previous to this year, so don't know too much about him. Kyle Seager, of course, is amazing. Could easily win this vote as well. For the A's, I think Matt Chapman is a hands-down pick for this one. A souped-up Matt Chapman with an elite defense and a boosted hitting would be a great addition for third baseman. Guys like Nolan Arenado would be the same. If two of those guys win, then it'll be extremely tough to pick and choose who you would want. I don't really know how they're going to release these cards into packs or stuff like that. I don't know if there's going to be a choice pack implemented. I did predict that as well. But I'm going to be excited to see more information. They are going to reveal more information throughout the week as we move closer towards some of this information being revealed. But anyway, for the Angels, I think Shohei Ohtani wins this one. I think that he has to win. I mean, David Fletcher, Hansel Robles are definitely good players, but I think Shohei Ohtani is the fan favorite in this one. No Mike Trout. He might be one of the locked cards. If not, he's definitely going to get a Signature Series card in this year's game. It might be the final collection as well. We don't know. I'm predicting Ted Williams, Albert Pujols, Babe Ruth, or Mike Trout for that final collection, but I could be wrong on that. You never know what they're going to do with the content with those developers. I think that the content in this year's game is amazing, and you just never know how they're going to release it. I think it's awesome that we don't. I think it's cool to have that surprise as well. But for the Astros, we have Jose Altuve, Jordan Alvarez, and George Springer. Probably the toughest choice to vote for. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Jose Altuve for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Alvarez gets selected for this. A lot of people like that dude, and these other cards, Altuve and Springer, have already had finest or boosted cards in years past. I know Springer had a postseason version. Altuve had the finest boss in 17. And I think that Jordan Alvarez has a good chance to win this one. However, I'm going to pick Altuve or Springer, I think. But that's just me. For the Twins, they got Mitch Garver, a power hitter, and Jorge Polanco, Taylor Rogers, also pretty good power hitter, has a few more extra base hits, but is also slugging at a high percentage. I think I'm going to choose Mitch Garver for this one just because a power hitting catcher. I think he does play another position as well, but mainly going to be a catcher for this, and I think that's going to be the selection. I think he's a great card. He's going to have even more power than his live series does and would be a very usable card in ranked seasons. For the Royals, as we move in the last couple of these teams, the Royals get Hunter Dozier, Whit Merrifield, and Jorge Soler. I'm going to be voting for Jorge Soler. Definitely think that a lot of people will select him as well. For the Tigers, we got Matthew Boyd, Nico Goodrum, and Spencer Turnbull. I think the only selection here is Nico Goodrum, a switch-hitting utility player that will have a little bit of power, a good defense, and some speed. I wouldn't necessarily go with Matt Boyd. He's a lefty starter, not really going to be the greatest compared to a lot of the other lefties that we were going to have, as well as some other lefties that might get selected for this program. Spencer Turnbull would be my last choice here. As a Tigers fan, even I wouldn't want a card finest version of him. I'd rather go with the Nico Goodrum, but that's just me. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the next one. We do see the White Sox here, Tim Anderson, Lucas Giolito, Yohan Moncada. I think Moncada is the selection here. Definitely a solid card, had a Future Stars card earlier. in MLB The Show and switch hitter. So I'm going to go with him. Same thing here with Francisco Lindor. Got to select Lindor. He's going to be, I think, the fan favorite. He had a finest card in last year's game. Best shortstop in the game, in my opinion, and could be one of the best shortstops in this year's game as well with a finest card. For the Blue Jays, I think Bo Bichette wins this one by a landslide. It could be Lourdes Gurriel as well. But Ken Giles probably comes in third place for this one. I think other people would want Bo Bichette or Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I know Kevin G.O.D. is going to be voting for Bo Bichette, and so will I. I think that he deserves the finest card and would be a great addition to the finest program. For the Tampa Bay Rays, I think you got to go with Austin Meadows over Emilio Pagan and Tommy Pham. Just Austin Meadows, breakout phenom player. Performed really well for the Rays this year, and solid lefty. Got to go with him, and he's a nice outfielder as well. Pretty sure he has a Player of the Month card or a flashback version of his card, and it was also pretty good. I think I tried it out. I could be mistaken on that, but I might be thinking of someone else. I think he does. I'm not sure. But the Orioles, I think the best pick here is Jonathan Villar. I believe this is the last division for the finest voting. So we will have all the teams in this one. I think Trey Mancini could also win this one, but I think Villar is the go-to pick. Don't really know too much about John Means. I'm sorry about that, but that's just, I haven't been able to keep up with baseball as much as I would like to. Villar has definitely been a very nice switch hitting guy with power as well as speed. So I think he's the choice there. For the Red Sox, I think this is another tough one. I think Rafael Devers could get one. I think Mookie Betts is going to be the choice here. I think because he can play second base, outfield, he's going to have maxed out fielding, he's going to have boosted hitting stats. I definitely think that he's the go-to player for that one. And to wrap it up, we do have the Yankees here. We see Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, and Gio Urshela. I think that all of these cards are great selections for the finest program. I'm excited to see what the 17 locked cards are going to be. I'm probably going to select Gleyber Torres for this just because I think we have some other catchers in the game that are really nice. I don't really want to face Gary Sanchez a whole bunch. I know a lot of people will use that finest card, and that's not why I'm going to vote Gleyber. I just think Gleyber is a young kid. I think he's a great shortstop, great middle infielder, and will have also has a really good swing in the game, and I think he deserves a finest card. He's performed really well for the Yankees. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be the finest reveal for all the cards, as well as the Ron Guidry for signature team moments. But until next time, everyone, peace out.